Hey everyone. Some of you have reached out to me and said you don't really need all the tricks that I show up in my videos. What you'd love is a simple template or package, something that you could set up easily so you could use your Stream Deck when you're in a Zoom or Teams meeting to press buttons to change to different backgrounds, and even to change the background to, if you have a second monitor, to whatever you have on that monitor. So if you have your PowerPoint, if you're doing a presentation, a PDF, or even a website, right now I have it set up to show my YouTube channel, and of course a button to make yourself smaller. So when you're doing your presentation, people can see your content. Check out all this great content, by the way. Please like and subscribe. Button to make yourself bigger again. And you can see I'm not using all the buttons. I'm really trying to keep this simple. A be right back button in case you have to run to the door for some reason. And the last button, a reset button to bring you back here. So I put together a little package that should allow you to do all of that if you're on Windows. There's a link to a zip file in the description below, but you have to follow my instructions for setting it up, otherwise it won't work right. So the first thing is when you unzip it, it has to go directly into the root of your C drive. The OBS is going to be looking for files in certain places, and if you put it somewhere else, it just won't work. So when you go to unzip it, don't do the right-click unzip thing, because sometimes that creates a folder, and then you have a folder within a folder. Just open it up and drag it, OBS Business Cam, the folder inside the zip folder. Drag that over directly to your C. I'm not going to do it because I already have it there. And once you do it, you should be able to click on it right there. OBS Business Cam directly in C, and it should have these 4 things in it. If there's another level here, then you did something wrong. It needs to look exactly like this. C, local disk C, OBS Business Cam, these 4 items. Next, you want to double click where it says run this once in all caps. That sets up the virtual camera. I'll explain what that is later. Next, you want to double click this file, the OBS Business Cam Stream Deck, and that will put this profile right onto your Stream Deck, assuming it's plugged in and everything's running right. And then let me open this up. It'll look just like that. Now these buttons aren't going to do anything for you yet because we still need to do a little more setup in OBS and run OBS. But while we're here, just to show you the layout, the top 5 buttons do the things we just showed you. So this one resets, goes back to this home screen. The second one presents, it shows my second monitor behind me. The small button and big button work as advertised, and be right back goes to that be right back screen. And these 3 buttons on the bottom are folders, so they have other buttons within them. This one has all the different backgrounds, and this top button up here goes back to the main profile. This one, I gave you a folder of sounds. I just threw in some. Why not, right? And again, this button goes back, and this last button is the startup folder. In the startup folder is OBS. This will run OBS. Virtual cam, we'll get to that in a minute, turns on your virtual cam. If you happen to have an Elgato key light, it's kind of cool. This button turns it on remotely. I have one. This button turns it on and off. But if you don't worry about it. Just ignore it. Or you can delete it. And this is the same button that you saw on the other screen, the reset button. So let's start OBS. And when you start OBS for the first time, the first thing you're going to need to do is configure your camera. So I'm going to disappear for a moment. I want you to see what it's going to look like when I press this button. So let's pretend I press this button, and here's what you see. Okay, so OBS should be open on your desktop. It probably looks something like this. Let's get the camera going so you can see me again before we explain what everything is. At the bottom left of the screen, you should see scenes, and there's different scenes you can click on. Again, I'll explain how that works later. Click on the one that says nested webcam, and then over to the right in the area where it says sources, double click on webcam or right click on it and click properties. Next, click the device dropdown. It probably has my webcam. You'll need to select your actual webcam, and then you might have to click activate. And here I am. And if you're brave, you can click the configure video and adjust your brightness and contrast and those settings. I always tend to make them worse. I'm going to leave that alone. Now, and then we can close this. Now, some of you may be thinking, hey, I don't have a green screen. That's okay. I'm going to show you how to do virtual background without a green screen. And some of you may be thinking, I don't want to do virtual backgrounds. I like my setup. No problem. I'm going to show you how to use this without a virtual background. But before we deal with any of that, let's fix our framing. We want to be framed the way we're normally framed in Zoom and Teams. So in sources here, next to webcam, make sure that little lock icon is unlocked. That puts that red line on there. And then, you know how software works. You know this stuff works. Grab the red line and drag it out to the right size. Okay, that's too big. Make myself a little smaller. There we go. That's how I like to look in video meetings. So lock it down. Okay, and we're good to go. Well, you're good to go if you're using your real background, but if you're using a green screen or a virtual background, we still have a little work to do. So over in Scenes, right click on Nested Webcam and click Filters. And I have the chroma key already set up for you. You should be able to just click it and it should just be working if you have a green screen. Depending on your lighting, you might need to dial it in a little bit, just kind of play with the sliders down there. I never get it perfect. My hair is always flickering, but just do the best you can. And if you don't have a green screen, if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, you can add a filter, click the plus button. There it is, NVIDIA background removal, which, let me turn off the chroma key. Let's see. It basically does the same thing. You need to go to the NVIDIA website, download their SDK. I'll put a link to it. You need to have an NVIDIA graphics card. If you don't have a green screen or an NVIDIA graphics card and you still want to do this, I believe there is another plugin that allows it. You need to go to OBS website, OBS project, and find that one for yourself. So let me put the chroma back on, close the filter window, and now we're up and running. If I press the reset button, there we go. It should be working. So let's take a minute to go through what you need to know about OBS down here. These are your scenes. I think it's kind of self-explanatory. We have nested scenes. Those are scenes within scenes. It's just good practice. Don't worry about it too much. I have it all set up for you. You basically only have the two scenes. You have your main scene and your Be Right Back, and you have these two buttons for them. The sources are what's set up within the scenes. I should have them all set up for you. You shouldn't really need to worry about them. Audio mixer. We're not worrying about that. Audio is so hard. However you have audio set up in Zoom and Teams, just keep it that way. We're just going to keep our audio the way it was. And under the controls, well, right now I'm recording, you're not really going to use any of that, except there's one thing we forgot to talk about. Let's go back to our startup folder. After we press the OBS button, the next button is Virtual Cam. And when I press that, you see that Virtual Cam button turned on. Make sure that happens. That's your connection to Zoom and Teams. What it does is it sends a message to Windows, and OBS says to Windows, hey, whatever you're seeing here in this little preview box, pretend it's a webcam. Just treat it like a webcam. So now when you go into Zoom and you select your webcam, instead of selecting whatever webcam you have, you'll see an option, OBS Virtual Camera. Select that as your webcam in Zoom or Teams, and whoever you're meeting with in Zoom and Teams will see whatever you have in here. And finally, is this useful for people who aren't using a virtual background? It definitely is. I'm going to show you in a second. But first, I just want to make a point about that. I think that's kind of the ideal. I'm hoping to get there someday. I think if you like guitars, you have your guitars behind you. If you like Pokemon, you have your Pokemons behind you. Your home office reflects your personality, reflects your personal brand, and that's what you really ideally should be showing. Some of us aren't there yet, but if you are there, let me turn off my green screen. Go back to those filters, turn it off, and pretend that I have a nice setup. Pretend I have my guitars and everything behind me. So the way this would be useful is, again, if I want to present and I have something on my other monitor, I have my PowerPoint, right now I have my YouTube again. If I press that present button and press the small button, I'm still in my office. You know, I'm in a little box here, but it's not a bad box. It's a good box. That has my guitars behind me, and you could still see the presentation. So you could still use this setup for presenting on Zoom and Teams, even if you don't have a green screen or don't have a virtual background. But even if you have an awesome office, I would suggest, maybe get one of those retractable green screens just so you could do some tricks once in a while. All right, I hope that helps, and I hope everything worked. If it doesn't, I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments. And I hope this is just a starting point. This should get you up and running, but start adding your own stuff. Let me know what you come up with. Thanks for watching. And I know everyone says this, but it really does help. Please click those like and subscribe buttons. All right, take care, everyone.